I've had two therapists in the last month kind of nudge me towards spending some time delving into the darkness. I had an incredibly fertile exploration of my shadow in my shadow work, realizing of something that happened when I was about 11. And let's see. So when I was about 11, I was in fifth grade. I went to a new school. I was having a hard time, very hard time. And it was a time when there was like famines in the world and famines on TV. There was this talk of nuclear war and nuclear holocaust, the extinction of humanity. And at the same time, I was getting a grasp on science enough to understand that eventually the sun and everyone on Earth would eventually be extinguished. And I was looking at all this suffering and all this, and I just was like, what's the fucking point? Why endure all this? And I went to a really dark place. And my mom caught me with a belt around my neck, hanging myself from a doorknob. And I don't know if I was actually trying to kill myself or if it was just a call for help. But either way, I was unable to hold this worldview, this reality that was born into and aware of in that moment. And so I'm more aware now that a part of me constructed self-defense mechanisms to avoid returning to that darkness, that place of despair. And even getting close to it is an incredibly scary state of mind for me. Even thinking about that place is a scary state of mind. And in a recent shadow work session, the one that really blew me open, I was taken back and recognized that a lot of my inner critic is rooted in that 11-year-old part of me that's trying to protect me from getting too far off balance and falling into that abyss again. But both of my therapists are asking me, do you feel resourced enough to face that? And intellectually, I do. And at the same time, it feels very scary. And I think that the world right now, the news of the Gaza Strip, is a really perfect classroom for me to try to face this darkness. There is suffering, there is death, there is cruelty, there is unfathomable unfairness. There is no clear solution. It just is this darkness of human experience. And so how can I hold this in my worldview, keep an open heart, and not be overwhelmed with why? What's the point? And so that is, I don't have this all figured out. I mean, I woke up really early this morning with this in my mind, and so I've been writing about it this morning and recognizing that a part of me has been slipping into a little bit of why? What's the point? I've got a whole bunch of backlogged videos I haven't uploaded, and I've really been kind of hyper focused on my relationship, this kind of safe space of what I know matters, personal relationships, my world. And that's kind of been my answer to that big question of how do you go on? How do you keep trying to be kind and spread light in a world with so much darkness? And my answer has been, well, that's not the fight. The fight isn't ending darkness and ending cruelty. The fight is, can I expand light a little in whatever capacity? And it doesn't mean that if there's darkness somewhere, I have to address that darkness. It means I have to address some darkness, whether in myself or in my environment. And so that has been the worldview that has allowed me to continue on in the world and try to be of service and trying to be a love ambassador when I know I am not doing anything to help starving children in Africa or dying children in the Gaza Strip. And I guess that is a place where I have to have faith. And I guess I have to keep questioning and going, is there something else that I could be doing? I mean, if it doesn't feel right, then there's something else I should be doing. But I don't want to live in a way that nothing feels right or I never feel right. I don't want to live a martyr's life of sacrificing the joy, the celebration, the bliss of being alive in a human body, sacrifice it all in the attempt to rid the world of all suffering. I don't think that is the answer. What is the sweet spot that we can find of being someone who is connected enough to the joy of being alive that they have energy left over to try to reduce the darkness in the world, to try to reduce the suffering in the world? And I don't know what that means for what's going on in the world today. It's made so much more complicated by this incredibly sophisticated manipulation and deceit tools that are available to people. As we see, the way AI is being used, the way that we see news and fake news channels are weaponized, and the way that we see one another weaponized. I mean, it's almost impossible to say any opinion loudly and not have someone attack you back in a cruel and mean way. So I guess all of this is partially justifying my silence and recognizing that my silence does not mean that I have resolution. And I will continue, and I urge us all to continue to find a place where our heart stays open so that we can do what we can do to heal ourselves in little bitty ways, heal the world. Thank you. I love you.